Life is not happening to you. You are creating your life through the thoughts you think, the actions you take, the people you hang out with, the books you read, the content you're consuming. You're literally creating your life. You are already manifesting. If you think back to like when massive change happened in your life, it wasn't because your circumstances changed. It was because you changed what you did, you changed how you thought about things. You were the one who changed. And that is what I mean by building the skill of intentionally manifesting opportunities. I want you all to know that manifestations are created within you. It starts here in your brain, and then they happen outside. You are the creator, though. Welcome to the Chingona Revolution podcast, where we will bring out your inner badass Latina, overcome self-doubt, help you gain clarity, and pave your own path, all while leading with courage. I am your host, Latina coach and speaker, Theerikacruz. Hello, and welcome back to Chingona Revolution podcast. This week on the podcast, I am sharing the recording from a recent free webinar that I hosted. The webinar is Magnetic Method: How to Build Influence and Attract Opportunities Without Hustling. Y'all, this was a really good webinar. I'm very excited about the things that I teach. There was a lot of positive feedback from it. There was a lot of really good engagement. And I'm even more excited because this webinar was sponsored by Magnetic Mastermind. And as of yesterday, we have officially opened doors for Magnetic Mastermind. This program has not been open for enrollment since the beginning of 2024. So Magnetic Mastermind is open from the 21st, October 21st, until October 30th. So if you've been waiting for me to open doors for this program, now is your time to schedule your call. Listen to the podcast episode, hear what it's about, see if this resonates with you. But it is an incredible group of women. The things I teach in this webinar are some of my favorite concepts, and these are things that I cover inside of Magnetic Mastermind. Magnetic Mastermind is for you if you are a spiritually curious entrepreneur or creator, even if you are an aspiring one, or if you are an established one. The Magnetic Method process that we follow inside of Magnetic Mastermind will help you grow regardless. It's not just going to help you grow, it helps you manifest 7 dream opportunities in 6 months using this Magnetic Method process. This is also for you if you are a purpose-driven individual. If you want to make money and you want to also make impact, maybe you have a lot of ideas and you're unsure of where to focus, or maybe you're feeling overwhelmed with trying to hustle your way through to success and you're really just ready to master the skill of manifesting. I want you to know that you can manifest opportunities with ease because manifesting isn't just for people who are lucky. All you need is a proven step-by-step framework that you can follow. So if this is resonating with you, check out theerikacruz.com. That's Erica with a K /magnetic-mastermind. The link is also down below. If you're still like, I have questions, listen to this podcast episode because I'm telling you, even if you are not an entrepreneur or a creator, this is such a good webinar for you to listen in on. So I hope you enjoy it. And a reminder that the doors for Magnetic Mastermind close on October 30th. Do not wait. Also, at the time of this podcast being released, we have a 48-hour bonus, which includes a 90-minute one-on-one call with me. When you schedule your call within the 48-hour bonus and join the program, you get that 90-minute call with me. The bonus expires on Wednesday, October 23rd at midnight Pacific time. Okay, so make sure that you schedule your call before then because I want you to get the bonus. If you're considering this program, at least book your call. Book your call within that time frame, and that is how you will qualify for the bonus. All right, let's get into this awesome webinar. Okay, y'all, welcome to the Magnetic Method webinar. Today we're talking all about how to build influence, how to attract opportunities without hustling, and how can you leverage this magnetic method to grow your opportunities, but also leverage it in your life. I also want you all to know that this webinar is completely free. It is sponsored by Magnetic Mastermind, which is my mastermind. At the end of the webinar, I'm going to tell you more about Magnetic Mastermind because we are opening the doors at the end of the webinar. If you're just here to learn, totally cool. I will let you know whenever I am done teaching and whenever we're transitioning into the program, and we will take it from there. All right, let's go to the next slide. There we go. So by the end of this webinar, you will learn how to attract ideal opportunities and clients in an easy way without feeling like you're chasing them. I also want to go over what strategy does not work. I'm going to share some of my own mistakes because we definitely learn we can learn from other people's mistakes. And then I'm going to share which strategies do work. You're going to learn how manifestation is something that you can actually learn. And it's not just for those people who are lucky. It's not just like one of those things where you're either a good manifester or you're not a good manifester. There's actually a way to manifest, and there are step-by-steps that you get to learn. And I'm going to teach you today. So where are we going today? What journey am I going to take you on? This is being recorded. We are going to share the recording as long as you registered for the webinar. And if you're listening on Instagram Live, you can actually just reply Magnetic and we will send you the link for the webinar. You'll get the emails as well. So if you do, for any reason, need to drop off or come back on, know that you can always access the recording. We do have a special bonus. So if you are able to, stay with us until the end because I have a really exciting thing for you all at the end. But here's where we're going. So I'm going to tell you that if you're in the right place. So I'm going to describe current struggles. And after that first slide, if you're like, that doesn't resonate with me, feel free to drop off. If it resonates with you, stay with me. So we're going to go over, if you're in the right place, we're then going to go over what it is that you want. Then I'm going to talk about what the mistake is that you might be making and what it is that you can do that actually works. And then I'm not just going to tell you what works. I'm also going to give you 3 different strategies so that you can actually implement what works. And we are also going to talk about Magnetic Mastermind if this is something that you're interested in doing. And I'm going to end with Q&A. So if you have questions for me, if you'd like to ask me a coaching question, if you have questions about Magnetic Mastermind, about anything I taught during the webinar, save it until the end. I do love engagement in the chat, but if you can save your questions to the end just so that we don't lose them, that would be amazing. So just write them down. Okay, who you are. Let's see if you are in the right place. If you are a spiritually curious entrepreneur or creator. And this also counts aspiring ones. Let's say you're like, oh, I have a desire to be a creator or a desire to be an entrepreneur, or I'm in the early stages, or maybe you've been doing this for a while. So, but you know that the masculine way of doing business doesn't really apply to you. So you want to be able to leverage your intuition. You want to be able to bring in some of the feminine energy. It's also for you if you know that you're meant to land amazing opportunities or be fully booked out, but you're not exactly sure how to get there. So maybe you've always had this feeling of like, damn, I know that I'm meant to be on stage, have clients, all of those different things that you desire. You're purpose driven. So maybe you do want to make money, but you're not driven by money. You really want to make money and impact. You want to be able to make a life for yourself in a way where you're helping others. And maybe you have a lot of ideas, but you're unsure which one to focus on. And last one, you wonder why so many people on your feed seem to be able to land opportunities, but you find it to be really hard. And you don't want to compare yourself to other people, but you keep asking yourself like, damn, what am I doing wrong? How come like Lucy from down the street is basic AF and she's getting all these opportunities when like, I know that I could bring the spice, and why am I not getting them, right? So if you feel like you were in the right place, go ahead and put a 1 in the chat just so that I know. And again, if none of this resonates with you, you are welcome to spend your evening in a different way. But if this is you, hang out with me because you're going to learn a lot of stuff today. All right, here is what you want, friends. You want opportunities. Opportunities being clients, speaking engagements, podcast interviews, Instagram live invites. Maybe you want brand deals, maybe TV appearances or consult calls. Like maybe you want people to book a call with you. You want to be able to open your inbox and see an invitation to be on a podcast. You want an invitation to be a guest speaker, an invite to be a collaborator with maybe your favorite brand or creator. You want a sales call booked. you want a client who just paid in full. I don't know, maybe you want an email from Chingona Revolution podcast, like, hey, we want you on the podcast. You want your inbox to look something like this: speaking opportunity, paid campaign opportunity. This one already happened, so I could post it. And maybe you even want to be like, oh, this is actually not a good fit. You want to be able to turn things around, but you just want the opportunities to come your way. You want to be able to open your Instagram app or your TikTok app or your LinkedIn and get direct messages and see messages from aligned clients. Maybe you want them from loyal followers, or maybe somebody that you admire. You want your inbox to look something like this: being followed by people that you look up to, messages from people like, oh my gosh, I think I saw you on this ad. Was that you? Oh my gosh, your program did this. I appreciate everything you do for the community. Your stuff resonates with me. I mean, you really just want to create an impact and get these things rather than sliding into people's DMs with like, hey, you should be my client. But here's why this is not happening for you. Here's why maybe your inbox doesn't look like this. Whoops, there it is, like that. And why your DMs don't look like this. You believe that you don't have any control over the opportunities that you land. What do I mean by this? You are almost waiting for opportunities to manifest both before believing they're possible. Almost like when I get that podcast interview, then I'm going to feel like I'm worthy of being on the podcast, or then I know that people care about what I have to say. So what happens if you believe this? If you have this belief, then you don't really even try. You end up staying where you are, and whenever opportunities do not come your way, you get discouraged. And maybe you build the courage to say, you know what, I'm going to reach out. Maybe you do this. Like I say maybe 20% of the people that I've worked with do this. Most people fall in this camp right here where like they just don't really even try. So maybe you reach out through email or DM to a podcast or somebody to collaborate with, or maybe somebody who you think would be a good client of yours, but you're left on red or straight out rejected. And when you don't hear back, you end up feeling really crappy about yourself. And then you stop taking action. And then guess what? You stop trying. So it's almost this cycle of just keeping you where you are. So how do I know that this is true? Because you might read this and be like, I don't know, Erica. I don't know if that's me. Here's how you know. Here's maybe some of the things you might say to yourself, some of the things you might do. So maybe you say, once I get that speaking gig, then I can call myself a speaker. Or maybe if you posted like, hey, I'm going to start coaching people on their health, and nobody books a call when you make that announcement, maybe you just stop creating content because you take that as a message of like, maybe people don't want this. Or you are questioning if you have enough experience to be on stage or to coach that person who expressed interest. Maybe somebody DM'd you and is like, hey, I really love what you're doing. I'd love to work with you. But you're like, oh my gosh, I don't feel ready. I don't know if I have enough experience. I don't know if I can take this client on. And any sign of rejection makes you shut down. So as I had just mentioned earlier, maybe you've built the courage to reach out, but the moment you don't get that validation, you just shut down and go into inaction. Maybe you can justify things with like, oh, I'm just going to charge them half price because they're my first client. Or you might find yourself saying things like, I should just be grateful because I have this little opportunity. I'm not even going to try to negotiate it. Another common thing I hear is, oh, it's a fluke. Or, oh, it was given to me, so I didn't create it. Like, oh, my friend made the introduction and that's why I ended up speaking there. Or my friend became my first client, so it doesn't count because they know me. Or maybe you go to all the free workshops trying to find answers and you think that through information, things are going to change for you. I'm just gonna look at the chat really quick, make sure I didn't. Or people say I got lucky. Yes, Daisy. Yeah. All right. So can you put a number 2 in the chat if any of this resonates with you? How you know it's true. Any of these, it doesn't have to be the exact same stuff, right? But maybe you said something similar. Okay, yeah, I see Kay, Alejandra, Catalina, Yesenia, yeah, Daisy, amazing. All right. Wait, did I go? No, I didn't. All right. So here's why this does not work. This mindset, this train of thought, it doesn't work because the word manifestation literally means to believe in an idea and then turn that idea into reality. It means to create from a belief and to create from an idea. So from the other mindset, you're like, oh, show me proof and then I'm going to believe. From the other mindset, you're like, as soon as I see evidence, then I know it's true. But if you are supposed to manifest something and create something, you can't see it. So if you're waiting for the manifestation to happen before believing it's possible, you're never going to create it. And from this perspective, it can be really easy to go into life is happening to you. And you're just kind of like, all right, let's see what life gives me. It's almost like you're removing your power and you're saying, okay, well, let's just see what comes my way. And here's what I want you to know what does work. And this is what it is. It's just a simple mindset shift. I want you to know that you can build the skill of intentionally manifesting opportunities. Life is not happening to you. You are creating your life through the thoughts you think, the actions you take, the people you hang out with, the books you read, the content you're consuming. You're literally creating your life. You are already manifesting. If you think back to like when massive change happened in your life, it wasn't because your circumstances changed. It was because you changed what you did. You changed how you thought about things. You were the one who changed. And that is what I mean by building the skill of intentionally manifesting opportunities. I want you all to know that manifestations are created within you. It starts here in your brain, and then they happen outside. You are the creator, though. So, like, let's just use a really very basic example of a highway or a bridge. Do you think people just started building a bridge? Oh, no. Somebody had to come up with the idea of, like, to get from this town to this town, we have to take boats. What if we built a bridge? Wouldn't that be easier for people to get from that point to that point? Wouldn't that allow us to create more jobs? Wouldn't that allow us to do all these other things? And then they took it from their mind and created a blueprint for it. Is that what they're called? The blueprints? Yeah, right? In construction? I don't know. I love how I chose that as an example and I know nothing about this. Let's go to makeup. Let's just go back to makeup. Okay, back to makeup. Like that's just where my mind is going to have a lot more examples for you all. Let's say I used to work in makeup actually. So I can what is a recent thing that, oh, like lip stains. When I worked at MAC Cosmetics, this was like 10 years ago, I was in college. There was no such thing as lip stains. There was lipsticks, and people would always come in and complain about how they would have to completely fill in their lips with lip liner in order to get it to stay. Now, literally every company has lip stains. But that started with a thought, right? Somebody had to think, oh, it would be a really good idea if we created something that would allow people to apply once and then they wouldn't have to apply again. And then they went through, okay, well, let's test it. Let's create something. Let's test it on people. Okay, let's improve it. But it all started with a thought first. It all started in somebody's head. Here's some examples from celebrities, just because I thought this would be really fun, because I could tell you all like examples from my own life. Here's how I know that this actually works. And here's evidence from other people other than me. If you're a lot younger, you're probably like, who the hell is Jim Carrey and what is Dumb and Dumber? So I included some recent examples too. But Jim Carrey wrote himself a $10 million check at the height of his struggle. So he was in the middle of struggling. He was not thriving. And he dated it Thanksgiving 1995. Just before Thanksgiving in 1995, he discovered that he was on track to make the exact amount of money on Dumb and Dumber. If you haven't seen that movie, it's hilarious. It's an older movie. Obviously, it came out in the 90s. I was a kid when it came out. But how crazy. So he wrote the check and then he ended up landing this opportunity and then found out that that's how much money he was making. Another example, Zendaya. We all love her. So in 2012, she tweeted that she wanted to be on the cover of 17 magazine one day. And after 4 years, so it didn't happen in that month, right? After 4 years, she made it on the cover of the October 2016 issue. In 2010, Demi Lovato tweeted that she'd one day sing the national anthem at a Super Bowl. And a decade later, her tweet came true when she sang the national anthem at Super Bowl 54. And this one's a more recent one. So in 2019, Lil Nas X, he's the guy who sings the that country-ish song. Like people were upset. I just went to a country concert yesterday, so that would have been great to see him, but he wasn't there. Old Town Road or something like that. I don't know. And he posted a video in which he expressed his appreciation for reaching 3,000 Instagram followers. Okay, so like I before we even move forward, there's just so much here. He was leading with gratitude. He wasn't like, "Oh, but I'm not at 300,000 yet." He was eating a pizza. You can look up this video, but he was eating a pizza and he was just saying thank you for the 3,000 Instagram followers. And he said, "But let me hit y'all back a year from now. We're going to see where I'm at." And then he recreated the video 1 year later to celebrate his 5 million Instagram followers. And currently he's at 10.5 million followers. All of these people decided what it was that they wanted, and then they took the aligned action towards it. Like I think sometimes there's this misconception manifestation is just like hopes and dreams and waiting for things to come to you, but these people are examples of how that's not the case. But manifestations do begin here. So when you adopt this mindset that you can intentionally manifest opportunities, everything changes. You go from feeling powerless to powerful. Instead of being in freeze mode and not being able to take action, you actually take action from this place of conviction. How are we already at 21 minutes? How are we already there? You will become fully booked from this mindset. You will take on speaking gigs, even if you don't feel 100% ready. You will go on the podcast tour. If you don't know what a podcast tour, it's like whenever you're just going on a bunch of different podcasts and talking about, a similar topic. Whenever people come out with books, they go on podcast tours where they're going on all these different podcasts. You'll attract an aligned community and you'll create massive safety for yourself, knowing that you can create the life and business results that you want. So here are examples from my clients and how I've helped my clients manifest opportunities. And this is what happens when you have that mindset shift. I just want you to see other examples that aren't celebrities and aren't myself. And then we're going to get into who I am after this, in my story. So my client, Janet, manifested a pregnancy and simplified her business so that she could take time off for maternity leave. She also manifested a six-figure business, not once, but twice, two years back to back. And that second year is when she got pregnant and all of that. All right. Daniela, who is the founder of Explora magazine, landed 3 speaking engagements. She hadn't spoken at all before. She tripled her magazine subscriptions in 3 months. Let's say that she had sold 100 magazines all of 2023. In 2024, from January to March, she had 300 magazine subscriptions. Ale landed her first one-on-one coaching client and had a 25K launch. Clara went from having too many ideas for her business to manifesting the most perfect opportunity, which was becoming a Texas realtor instructor. And Jess landed her first paid client for self-love coaching and held 2 in-person workshops. All right, let's go to my story. Just make sure I didn't miss anything. Oh, one of my favorites. So you're telling me there's a chance? Yes. Oh, that's hilarious. So in the movie Dumb and Dumber, he was like trying to hit on a girl. And then he asks, "What are my chances with you?" And she says, 1 in a million. And his response goes, "So you're telling me there's a chance." Talk about total optimism. All right. So who is the person that's been talking to you for almost 20 minutes? My name is Erica. I am a Latina coach and speaker. I am the daughter of 2 hardworking Mexican immigrants. I've supported over 250 coaching clients. Last year, I made $293,000 just from coaching. And then I've spoken on a ton of stages, everywhere from We All Grow Latina Summit to McDonald's to a lot of different tech companies and a lot of nonprofits, a lot of schools. But this was not always the case. This is not who I have been. So in 2019, I was running a food blog called The Nutty Oven. And my goal was to leave the tech industry. So just picture this. I am the daughter of hardworking Mexican immigrants. I did everything I was supposed to do. I go to school after hating school. Like school was so not my thing. And I end up working in the tech industry. In my 20s, I start making six figures. And that narrative of like, I should just be grateful. Look how lucky I am to have this. My parents didn't have half of this. And I went back and forth with that for a while. But I knew at my core that I wanted to do meaningful work. So my goal was I want to leave tech to do meaningful work, but I couldn't go from making money, paying off student loans, trying to build generational wealth to making absolutely no money. So I was like, well, I have to figure something out. So I was like, okay, well, let me start a food blog. Well, one thing I don't mention here, I thought about this food blog for 2 years before I actually started it. I think sometimes people think it's so easy for Erica to just to just get started on things, and it's like now it's easy. Definitely wasn't always easy, but I then spent my free time waiting for this dream opportunity to land in my lap, and it never did. So in the meantime, I spent way too much time following other successful food bloggers and comparing myself. Just like, oh, damn, like that girl got a box from Siete Chips, or that girl had a collab with this person, and I couldn't get myself to land anything. And I really believed that I didn't have any control over landing opportunities. Sound familiar? This is what I was telling you all is the mindset that doesn't serve us. I believed this to my core. And I was waiting for the opportunities to manifest before believing they were possible. I was like, oh, when I land my first brand deal or when I get to collab with somebody big, then I'm going to believe it's possible. And eventually, I started reaching out to brands because I was like, okay, this is what I think I need to do. I think I need to reach out to brands if I want to land anything, because if they're not coming to me, like, let me chase them. And I ended up pitching myself, and my emails never went anywhere. So what did it do? It affected my confidence. I stopped showing up, and I never made a dollar from the food blog. So it really got to the point where I was just like, I don't even think I'm talented. I don't even think I have anything to provide. Nobody cares about this, and I can't leave tech. Like, I was like, I'm stuck here forever. I should just be grateful. Right back to that message. And then I learned that the skill of intentionally manifesting opportunities is something that you can learn. And I mastered it. Not right away, though. Not right away. So that is when everything changed. Literally 2 years after that, I was on the front page of the New York Times with my business bestie, Kat del Carmen. I launched my podcast, Chingona Revolution podcast. Months after, I started creating content on TikTok and creating self-development content. I ended up interviewing Luis Fonsi for Hispanic Heritage Month. I ended up getting hired by Harvard University to lead meditations. I didn't have a meditation certificate. I just liked mindfulness. I was just posting about the stuff I really liked. And then I was interviewed on Telemundo 3 times. I landed my first 10K speaking engagement. But you want to know what the most important part was? I got to do meaningful work. I left tech. I did not keep going with the food blog. A big part of manifesting is a letting go of things that aren't working out or letting go of the things that aren't for you. And with the food blog, I was just trying to hurry up and get big so I could leave my job. I'm going to tell you why this next approach worked, especially as we talk more about how it is that you can build the skill of intentionally manifesting opportunities. And this is what helped me. This is what's gotten me to where I am. And this is what I do to help my clients get results. My clients in Magnetic Mastermind have done some really cool things. And it's because they have learned this skill and there's a process for it. So I want you to know, before I teach you how to do this, learning the skill of intentionally manifesting opportunities will change your life. It will change your life because you won't feel a victim to life. You're going to feel like the creator of life and business. So I'm going to teach you the 3 strategies to help you manifest. This is what I call my magnetic method process. And here are 3 main strategies from it. So the first one is you need to have a clear mission. A clear mission is a clear and powerful statement of how you make the world a better place, what you aim to achieve, and why you're doing it. It reflects your deepest values, your passions, and your goals. In other words, what's your why? How are you going to, like, what is the big why behind why you're doing what you're doing? And here's why it works. The highest level of motivation is mission-driven motivation. You are less likely to give up. There's been a lot of research on this. The lowest level of motivation is just trying to get money. If your goal is, I just got to get money, anytime you come across obstacles, you are more likely to give up. Versus if you are doing something that's mission driven. Like, have you ever met those groups who, like the moms who lost their kid due to drunk driving, and then they're suddenly so involved in assemblies and different school activities and nonprofits? That is a perfect example of having a clear mission, something bigger than yourself. So the best way to get over your imposter syndrome and your self-doubt is through the clear mission. Apparently, I wanted to keep telling you all that you're less likely to give up because I wrote it twice. I didn't even notice I did that. It also gives you a North Star to follow. It gives you something to go towards. This is my client, Jen. She is a career and money coach. And before she had a really clear mission as to why she was doing what she was doing, she felt paralyzed about showing up on LinkedIn because she used to be a recruiter. So all of her network was on LinkedIn. She felt like she was going to be judged by them, like they were just going to judge her because now she was starting her own thing. What might they say? You know, the whole like woman of color experience of like, oh, what are people going to say? ¿Qué va a decir la gente? And then she was also worried about how people were going to react to her starting her own business. All super valid thoughts. We're human beings. We're wired for connection. We want to be approved of. But the moment that she declared her clear mission and she began focusing on her mission, which was helping women build generational wealth by leveraging their careers, because she was laid off when she was pregnant in the middle of the pandemic. And if it wasn't because she had built wealth through investing by leveraging her career, her and her daughter would have been in some shit. And that became her big mission. She was like, how do I help other women and my daughter in the future? How do I help them get ahead? So after declaring that, she had the drive to show up. She was like, let's do this. She stopped overthinking. She started creating content, and then she landed her first high ticket client. She also landed 3 more sales inquiries that same week that she started showing up. She was no longer worried about her former coworkers, and she ended up going viral because she shared her story about being laid off while she was pregnant and how if it wasn't for her money skills, she would have been in trouble. When you implement a clear mission, you're going to go from focusing on your insecurities to focusing on a bigger purpose that makes the world a better place. You're going to go from worrying about other people's opinions of you and trying to hide to trying to reach as many people as you can. You're going to go from feeling sleazy for promoting yourself to knowing that you are making an impact, and you're going to feel really good about showing up because there's a big why behind it, right? It's no longer like, just look at me. It's like, no, I'm here for something important. And then you're going to go from giving up when an obstacle arises to establishing grit and being unstoppable. Like, you're going to look for opportunities instead of obstacles. Strategy number 2. This is like my favorite thing in the world. Visualization. People think I am insane for this, but I brought the data, I brought the science, I brought everything for this. So what is visualization? It is the active mental rehearsal. So you're pretty much using your mind to imagine the desired future. Just like how kids, use their imagination, same thing. Why it works. Visualization works because it taps into the brain's natural ability to create mental images, which then influences your beliefs and your outcomes. Your brain does not know the difference between an imagined experience and reality. So when you begin to mentally rehearse your success, you are rewiring your brain for success. The brain likes familiarity. So the more you rehearse your success, the more likely you are to see opportunities for success. The more likely you are to take action towards success. The more likely you are to hang out with successful people. A survey of Olympic athletes revealed that over 90% use some form of visualization. These are Olympic athletes, y'all. Let's bring the neuroscience in. What is the neuroscience behind visualization? It activates the reticular activating system, which is like known as the RAS. So the RAS is the part of your brain that filters information and focuses on what's most relevant to your goals. You know how like you go test drive a car and suddenly you see it everywhere? The car was always there. You just didn't see it. That is this part of the brain, which is located right through here. I'm not a neuroscientist, but this stuff, like, I really like it, especially when you can apply it to manifestation and to goals. So by visualizing what you want to manifest, you program your RAS to spot opportunities, resources, and solutions that can bring you closer to your goal. This makes your brain more attuned to what's important, helping you take aligned actions. So what happens before you practice visualization, you're doubting that you're even prepared for new opportunities. You have this fear of change, fear of uncertainty, you lack clarity, you're in hustle mode, and you feel anxious. When you learn to visualize, you actually feel more at ease because visualization helps stimulate the the calm part of your nervous system, which is called the parasympathetic nervous system. You don't have to know that. But then you have more clarity, you take intentional action, and again, you rewire your brain for success and for abundance. One of my favorite case studies about this, Rebecca. She was in last round of the mastermind. She's in this round of the mastermind, absolutely killing it. We've been working together for almost a year. Rebecca wanted new business, as in like new clients, new projects, but she was overwhelmed with the existing clients that she had. So it was hard for her to bring on new business when she was overwhelmed with what she had. She was charging below the market rate, and she had ideas for another business. This is a whole nother business, but lacked the clarity and didn't take any action towards it. After doing a month of this, which we do inside of the mastermind, a month of the visualization, she created $200,000 in new business in the 5 months of being in the mastermind, because we still have a month left. She had a $70,000 week the month that we were doing the visualization. She also won the National Latina Business Association Community Minded Contributor Award in San Diego. She also solidified that new business idea, the new business she wanted to start, and now she's working with a group of partners on this business venture. When you implement visualization, you're going to go from feeling overwhelmed to feeling at ease, from lacking clarity to knowing exactly what you want to do. Because visualization is almost like you putting in the GPS address of where you want to go before you go. You know, whenever you're in a rush to leave the house and you just get in the car and you're like, damn, I spilled my coffee. Oh, I forgot this, I forgot that. And you're getting in the car and you're trying to drive and you're also trying to figure out where you're going. That's how a lot of us are operating. We're just in the survival mode. But when you give yourself a moment of visualization and mental rehearsal, it's like you're just giving yourself a moment before you start your day to figure out where you're going to go, how you're going to get there, and what you need to bring. That's it. It's just like you're putting in the GPS address to your dreams, and visualization helps you get there. You're going to overcome your limiting beliefs from thinking that you can't and seeing all of the obstacles to then rewiring your brain and seeing the opportunities instead of the obstacles. You're going to go from fearing the unknown to knowing that literally anything is possible. And then the third strategy, which is where all of the action taking is. So a lot of people are like, how are you going to manifest? By just sitting around and hoping and praying. I just saw Luisa's message. Dios mío, it feels like you were jogging to just me. Just to me. Yeah. Isn't that crazy how sometimes these things can be so? It's just because I've been in your shoes before. That's why it just like lands like right under the skin. Like, damn, how does she know? Is she watching me? No, we're just at the core, we're all human. So number 3 is all about building influence. I actually think this is so funny because I was talking to Daisy, who's in this round of the mastermind. She's a poet, an activist, a speaker, an author, all the amazing things. And she was like, I don't want to build influence. And I was like, I think we need to reevaluate what we mean by the word influence, because the truth is we all influence one another, right? Like you influence your friends, you influence your parents influence you, like we're all influencing already. But if you combine building your influence with your mission, which was strategy number 1, and strategy number 2, so that you figure out what you want to do to get there, you can build massive influence. And when I say massive influence, I mean massive impact. So let me just explain what this is before you check out mentally. Building influence is to create compelling content that establishes you as a thought leader. You are visible, you are loud, you are consistent, and your message always aligns with your mission. Always. Whatever we talked about at the beginning, that's your why. It's going to align with that. Why does this work? This works because rather than waiting for an opportunity, you get to be like, you get to choose what you want to be known for. I started calling myself a self-discovery expert. I don't even know if you can get that certification. Like, I don't even think it exists. I was just Delulu. I don't know. I was just Delulu and I was like, I am a self-discovery expert. And then freaking Harvard hired me to do meditations. And then I got hired by all of these people to talk about finding yourself and purpose. And it was what I chose as my mission, though. The other thing is, it's 2024. We don't need anybody to come and validate us. You have all the abilities that Oprah has, right? Like we all have the ability to open an app and post a video. We all have the ability to write a blog post. We can be our own PR agents through impactful content. You know, back in the 90s, people had to get press. There was no such thing as social media. There was no way of reaching a large of audience. And the thing is that when people see your content, they then know what you stand for and they will approach you for podcasts, speaking projects, collaborations, and coaching. Let's say you never once posted anything in your life. How the hell are you going to land that podcast interview? I had somebody listen to Chingona Revolution. It was like the Marianismo and Machismo podcast episode. Biggest speaking engagement I've ever had from that one podcast episode. They listened to it. They said, we want you to come and talk to our pharmaceutical company about this. $10,000 to talk to them about just because I created that piece of content. And what is that piece of content about? It's not about skinny tea, look at me. No, it's literally talking about machismo, marianismo, how to be a strong, independent woman in today's society without being self-sacrificing. Like that was the topic. And a pharmaceutical company paid me $10,000 to go speak on that. This is what I mean by build influence. And decide what you want to be known for, decide what you want your mission to be, and do it. Show up for it. And you can do this through the manifestation marketing plan. So before you find yourself waiting for a reason to show up and you don't know what to post about and you feel bad that opportunities are not coming your way, but you also know that without action, you're not going to get results. So then you feel bad because you're not taking action. Then you get stuck in this cycle. You're like, well, I know I'm not doing anything. So how am I going to get opportunities? But like, how am I going to get opportunities unless like I could see that they are going to come? And you end up in this cycle, and not just you, speaking from experience here, but after you really begin to show up with conviction and purpose. Whenever you've declared your mission and then you create your manifestation marketing plan, which we help you do, and I'm going to talk to you about that after, but you then build trust with your audience. And opportunities come your way because people know you for your mission. I can't tell you how many times people have come up to me at conferences or just in Zoom meetings, and they're like, oh my gosh, you're the same person. I thought I was going to get something else. I'm like, really? Just to have that, that's like one of the biggest compliments I think I can get. And when you're creating content from this place of authenticity and that it aligns with your mission, it doesn't feel sleazy to do so. And you're going to know exactly what to post and how to post it. And it feels fun and it feels easy because it's mission oriented. All right. So Diana is one of my clients. She is a Latina accountant. And before we created a manifestation marketing plan for her, before we talked about building influence, she wasn't sure what to post. She had no high ticket clients. She really wanted to leave her 9-to-5 job, just like I did when I was in tech, but it didn't feel possible to her. And she was waiting for opportunities to come. After she implemented this strategy, 9 sales inquiries, 2 podcast interviews, a news article was written about her work at her 9-to-5, all with under 500 followers. Because I think a big objection for this is like, yeah, it's easy for you to build influence. Oh, actually, this is another. So Diana from Amigas en Dinero was actually in my program as well years ago. This didn't exist yet. So this is the other Diana. I worked with her. Oh, good. Yeah, she's awesome. She's killing it. So this is another Diana who was just in this round of Magnetic Mastermind. When I worked with the other Diana, she didn't, I didn't have Magnetic Mastermind then. So I like putting this in here because people just assume, oh yeah, you can build influence when you have a ton of followers. But this Diana is a great example of how with under 500 followers, she was able to do all of this. When you implement building influence or the manifestation marketing plan, you're going to go from waiting for opportunities to opening your inbox and seeing invites and requests. You're going to go from maybe DMing people to asking them for your business to then receiving unexpected invites. You're going to go from not being known, and not, I don't say that in a bad way, but like not being known as like the person to go to for this, to then being known as the thought leader. So like for Diana, like she wasn't really known as a Latina accountant when she wasn't showing up at all. Now, I can't tell you how many people have inquired about her services. Like now she is the Latina accountant. She went from feeling overwhelmed with content and not knowing what to post to doing it in a way that felt really easy to her. Like she was able to embed it into her day-to-day tasks so that it was just a part of her job. She went from making, or what you'll do is you're going to go from making little or no money to making money and making impact. When you implement these 3 strategies, you will manifest opportunities with ease and you will do it intentionally. So let's quickly recap in case you joined late or in case you just need a little recap, because I know my ADD self definitely needs recaps. So what you want is to manifest opportunities, clients, speaking engagements, interviews, and features. What's stopping you is that you are having a hard time believing that this is possible because you're waiting to see the evidence. You think the solution is to wait for the opportunities to happen, and then you're going to have evidence that they can occur. The actual solution is to create the opportunities, and you create them with having a clear mission, leveraging visualization, and building influence through the manifestation marketing plan. And that's it for the training portion. So I'm going to talk to you about how it is that you can implement these 3 strategies. And the best way to learn the strategies as well as implement them is by joining us inside of Magnetic Mastermind, especially because these strategies were created inside of Magnetic Mastermind. So what exactly is Magnetic Mastermind? It is a spiritual business mastermind for entrepreneurs and creators. Even if you're like, I want to be an entrepreneur, I want to be a creator, I want to say 3, I'm looking at everybody who's in Magnetic Mastermind, 1, 2, 3 people in the program last time had not made money and they made their first 6K within the first 5 months. The people who were already making money, like Rebecca, she was already making money, tripled her sales and opportunities. So what is the goal here? The goal is to help you manifest 7 dream opportunities in 6 months using the magnetic method. You learned 3 strategies inside of the magnetic method today. I'm going to just expand a little bit more on what exactly the magnetic method is. And how do you know that this is for you? I mentioned being an entrepreneur or creator, even if you're aspiring, even if you're established. This method works for you either way. The other one is you're purpose driven and you want to make money and impact. If you don't care about making impact, this is probably not going to work for you. And I say this with a lot of conviction because literally the first step is declare your mission. So, and we go back to that mission a lot. If this webinar resonated with you and you want to implement these 3 strategies with me by your side, then it's probably a great fit for you. If you feel overwhelmed with trying to hustle your way through success and you're ready to master the skill of manifesting, then this is for you. And again, if you know that you were meant to land amazing opportunities or be booked out, but you're not exactly sure how to get there. So let's really go through the magnetic method, right? That's the name of this webinar. So let's go through what exactly that is. It is first step. So there's 5 complete steps for it. The first one is declare your mission. We talked a little bit about the importance of declaring your mission and why that is. So in this first step, we help you get really clear on what your purpose is and the exact opportunities that you want to manifest. I teach you how to find your mission that aligns with you based on what are your strengths, what are challenges you've gone through. I have a whole framework to help you declare your mission. Unlike other masterminds, we are focused on doing impactful work. So again, if you don't want to do impactful work, that's totally okay. But because there's research on knowing that mission-driven motivation is the highest level of motivation, it's part of the process. It's also part of manifestation. And then step number 2 is visualizing your manifestations using neuroscience. So we use scientifically backed visualization techniques to reprogram your brain for success. This is the example that I gave about Rebecca. During that month when we did the abundance activation, which is literally when we were visualizing for a month using neuroscience, that is when she manifested the 7K week. That's when she manifested. I think she ended up with a total of like over 20 opportunities total. I talk about abundance activation there, and we're just helping you rewire your brain. You visualize the steps to reach your manifestation, and then we decide on how you want to deliver your mission. And we do this through deciding your core offer. We really look at, okay, who is the ideal person for your mission, and how can we help you attracting dream clients? And this is what helps you take intentional action. Instead of trying to do everything, like we really simplify. And that's one of the ways that you go from hustling to do it in an easy way, because you're doing less, but you're doing more of the thing that is intentional and that's leading you to something. Okay, step number 4, create your manifestation marketing plan. So this is the build your influence one. Learn how to build your own influence and create magnetic content that attracts opportunities. This also includes something called magnetic collabs, which I'll talk about in a little bit. And then this step really does help you create meaningful content in an easy way, like really simplifying. If you're a busy mom, how can we create really quick content that makes an impact and allows you to impact people with your mission through your manifestation marketing plan? So either way, it doesn't feel sleazy. It always feels meaningful. And then step number 5 is troubleshoot your manifestations. Identify and remove the blocks that are preventing you from receiving the opportunities that you're manifesting, because there are a lot of common manifestation mistakes. Like one of them could be that you at the core don't feel worthy of what it is that you're looking for. So like we help you remove that block. Another one could be being stuck on how it's going to happen. Can you imagine if I was like super stubborn with like the nutty oven has to be the way it goes? We wouldn't be here today. Y'all wouldn't be sitting here on a live watching me make walk. I mean, who knows? Maybe it could have gone that way, but I really think that I was supposed to be a coach. And if it wasn't for that door shutting in my face and other ones that I had also tried that I didn't talk about on this webinar, then I wouldn't be where I am. And then this step really helps you understand why a manifestation hasn't happened yet. And I help you troubleshoot it. There's a whole framework with like, okay, it hasn't happened. It could be this or this. And then you answer the question. All right, well, if this is the situation, is it this or is it this? Is this more for service-based businesses or will this work for boutique owners as well? Yeah, this will. So I actually have clients who have physical products. And then in this particular round, Rebecca does service, but Flo does in-person events. And then Daisy sells a book. So it's not a boutique, right? But she sells her book. So definitely like brick and mortars work, services work. This is my second copy of her books, but yeah, so she sells this book. So that is the 5-step magnetic method framework. And here's what you get in the program. So it is 6 months of weekly live coaching. So every week for 6 months, we meet and I coach you on that magnetic method on anything that you might be getting stuck on. If you have strategy questions, manifestation questions. Then we also have bi-weekly content co-working sessions. So especially the boutique. So Luisa, let's say that you are running your boutique. Like you probably still want to leverage social media to build your brand, to let people know that you are having sales, right? Different things like that. So this would still work for you. The other thing is you also get Slack support. So our meetings are every Tuesday, but let's say on Wednesday, shit hits the fan and you're like, I need coaching. You could go to Slack, which is just chat support, and you can ask for coaching anytime inside of Slack. The other thing is we have a virtual live event on November 15th. And this is where you're going to decide your mission. Before we even get started in the program, you're going to have declared your mission, your core offer, your manifestation marketing plan. You're going to have all that ready to go. And then you obviously get the updated curriculum. And then there's also content reviews. So you can submit your content. And this is the investment for this program. It is a mastermind. The investment is a one-time payment of 5555, or you can do 5 monthly payments of 1111. And if this sounds interesting to you, even if you're not sure, I do encourage you to schedule a call because it's a no commitment call. We get to talk one-on-one. I get to understand a little bit more about your business. And I can tell you how I think that this would be relevant for you. Even if you're like, oh, I don't even want to like have a business. I just want to create content and make money from content creation. Still a good fit. Like this is still going to work for you. I mentioned Rebecca earlier. She's the founder of a purpose-driven marketing agency, and these are some of her results. I don't know if I'll even read those because I already told you all, but Diana, here's the Latina accountant. She said, I booked my first 6K client and secured 9 sales inquiries. I had 2 podcast interviews and a news written about me. So again, you get all of this as well as the 5-step magnetic method curriculum comes in video. And then the live event, it's like an all-day thing. It is virtual. So it doesn't matter where you are. You can just log into Zoom. Everything's recorded. The weekly live coaching sessions are Tuesdays at noon Pacific. Ale is a digital marketing educator, and she landed her first 2 one-on-one coaching clients. She also had a $25,000 launch and a $7,000 Black Friday launch. I told you all about Daniela earlier. She's the one that tripled her magazine subscriptions, and she also landed 3 speaking engagements. So here's what I want you all to know. Like a big part of this is building your influence. Like this is where we do begin to take the action. And the biggest struggle for past clients in the last 2 rounds of this has been, how do I create content easily? And because of that, we've added a lot of different things. So this round, content co-working sessions is completely new. We didn't have this before. Also, content reviews, I just introduced it last round. You can submit your content and I will review it for you. This can be videos, blog posts, marketing emails, things like that. And then you also get the updated curriculum with a manifestation marketing plan. So this is a simplified version of creating content for your business. Like, where are your clients? What kind of content works the best for you? And then we also are introducing something called magnetic collabs. So this is where you're either paired with somebody in the mastermind or somebody in my network that's going to be beneficial for your business so that you can do Instagram lives together or so that you can do collaboration posts. Last round, what we did as the whole group of Magnetic Mastermind, we did a Hispanic Heritage Month reel where everybody read off a different piece and we clipped it together. And that's a great way of expanding your influence, of expanding your network by leveraging community to grow your network. So book your call. If you're like, this sounds like something I might want to do, if there's any doubt in your mind, book a call. If you're like, I think I want to do this, but I have some questions, book a call. Again, no commitment. We talk one-on-one. I learn about your situation, and then I tell you how I think this can help. So again, what do you get? You get 6 months of weekly live coaching, bi-weekly content co-working sessions. You get Slack support, the virtual live event on November 15th, 5-step magnetic method curriculum, content reviews, and as a thank you for being here, there is a 48-hour bonus. So you get a private 90-minute call with me. This will probably happen even before the live event. Actually, I shouldn't say that. I don't know. It might happen right after. But on this call, I'm going to help you pick your top 3 manifestation goals as well as build your manifestation marketing plan. This is 90 minutes of one-on-one time where like we could really go deep. I can really understand like, okay, what do you want to manifest? Like, yes, we're all here because we want to grow our brand, grow our business if you have one. But at the core of all this, it's like, it's really about the life we want, right? So is some of your manifestation goals also to manifest a pregnancy? Like some of my other clients, is it to manifest a dream partner? Is it because typically we want our businesses to be successful so we can have the life that we want. So as much as this is a business mastermind, we also look at it more holistically. And that's a great opportunity for us to really deep dive into you, to your business, to your life. So if you're considering this, book your call today because I don't want you to miss out on the 48-hour bonus. And Evie, I'm so excited. I just saw that your application came through. I'm so excited to speak with you. So Evie and I worked together, I want to say like a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, maybe. And she's just amazing. So I can't wait to see what it is that she does. She also has a podcast. Go follow her if you're not following her. How do you continue supporting your clients after the program is over? So, Geraldine, there's a few different options for that. That's a good question. Thank you for asking. Because it's a mastermind, it's 6 months long. So, there's a few options after the mastermind. The way that you can always rejoin. So, Rebecca was in the last round. She rejoined for this round. My client Josie has been in all the rounds I've had for it. So, that's always an option. If you're getting the results that you want to see, if you're seeing progress, you may want to stick with it. I'm always trying to improve the program, but that's one option. Another option is also joining something like Courage Driven Latina, which is my other program that isn't as high touch. It's not as high level, but it does give you that continued support. And then the other thing is I always keep my clients in mind for opportunities that come my way that I can't do. So I get inquiries for things that are just not I don't have the time for. So I always think of past clients for different opportunities, whether they're speaking engagements or even like the magnetic collabs, like even pairing past clients with current clients. So I do try to continue to support clients after the program is over in those ways. And then I see that there's a question about manifestation and visualization. But okay, I've always heard about manifestation and visualization, but it's hard to do this because I'm always in the mind of seeing to believe it. Yeah. So there's actually a lot of things that you can do when you are in the process of manifesting. So you can look for signs on like, okay, how do I know that I'm making my way to the opportunities and starting to find evidence of that? Like, I think the issue for some people is like they want to go from, oh, I've never had a speaking engagement to being fully booked as a speaker, or from like somebody who talked about having a boutique, right? Like maybe selling clothes from their, I don't know, parents' garage to like suddenly having a boutique in Beverly Hills. Like those are big jumps. So what we can do is help you identify the micro goals that help you get there and start to find evidence that way, because the brain believes anything that you give it evidence for. So have you ever heard like whether you can or you can't, you're right? That's very relevant here. So we just have to find evidence of the steps getting you towards the goal that you want to get to. And I have a whole framework on this. Okay, I answered what time are the weekly live coaching sessions. How do you consider? Oh, yeah. Okay. No, you don't have to be Latina. I've had people in this program who are Japanese. I've had people in this program who are American. I've had people in this program. I don't know if she's still here. I don't know if Kay is still here, but Kay is of Filipino descent. And she is my client in Courage Driven Latina. But no, you don't have to. I identify as a Latina coach because I am. I feel like as just a woman, I have maybe a little bit of a different perspective as a Latina woman. I might have a unique perspective in the way I do things. Like, for example, mission-oriented work. Obviously, you don't have to be Latina in order to agree with that. Let me get my slides back up. All right. More client results. So Gia, who is an esthetician, she overcame a layoff and she went all in on her business. So now she has her own esthetician business. Yane manifested a pregnancy and simplified her 6-figure business so she could take time off for maternity leave. And then Clara's the one that went from having a bunch of different ideas to becoming this Texas real estate instructor. She said, I'm already more successful both on a personal and business level because of Magnetic Mastermind. I'm now a Texas realtor instructor, have closed a listing and closed a lease. This was 4 months into the program that she said this. Daisy said, I came to the mastermind with the goal of landing an out-of-state speaking engagement, and I've landed 5 out of the country speaking engagements. Daisy is the author of this book. As you can see, she's holding it. I've secured over 12 speaking opportunities. All right, so what are the first 30 days inside of Magnetic Mastermind? So you're going to go from lacking clarity to knowing exactly what it is that you need to do. You're going to go from doubting yourself to having such a strong mission that even if you doubt yourself, it's not going to stop you. You're still going to show up. You're going to go from overthinking your content to posting your content with confidence. You're going to go from being worried about what your distant family members or your coworkers might think to having such a solid support system that you don't even think of these people. You're going to go from waiting for opportunities to knowing you have the power of intentionally creating opportunities and then receiving invites for things. This is Jen. She's the one that's the career and wealth coach. And she finally posted on LinkedIn, even though she knew it was something she wanted to do, and landed her first high ticket client. Um, I'm going to answer some frequently asked questions. And then I do see the message from Jocelyn that says, is it best to have a clear vision of your exact goals and dreams before committing? Or is that something that you'll help uncover? Something that will help uncover. Yeah. So here's what we help you do, Jocelyn. We help you figure out what is it that you want? Like, what's your end goal? Not it's almost like we're going to use the manifestation of like a dream partner, right? So, like, what are the characteristics of your dream partner that you want? Not so much like, don't give me the exact height, don't give me the like eye color, because you never know. What if your dream person is like 3 inches taller than you even, would have put on your vision board, or a little bit shorter than you would have, but you don't even care because they check off all these other boxes. So, and a good like a business example would be my food blog. If I'd been like stuck on that food blog, I'd never be here today. But I still ended up doing meaningful work. It just was in a different way than I expected. So, what we help you do is we help you identify what it is that you truly want. Like, what is it that actually really matters? And usually it's that you want more abundance, more freedom. You want to feel safe. You want the choice, right? You don't want to feel stuck in a job. You don't want to feel stuck in a relationship. You don't want to be stuck in an apartment because you're not making enough money. Like at the core, what you really want is like freedom. So we'll help you identify exactly what those goals are. And then obviously you're going to have opportunity desires as well. So we'll help you with, okay, what are your 3 manifestation goals? And those goals are going to change because you're going to get them. And then once you get them, we're going to move on to the next one. And sometimes things won't happen and then it might not make sense in the moment, but after it makes sense. Like I was so sad when I closed my food blog. I was like, I'm a failure, blah, blah, blah. And now I'm like, thank goodness I did the food blog first because that taught me so much about social media. It taught me so much. Like I've helped clients now that are food bloggers. So we definitely help you with that. So I hope that answers your question. What if I don't have a ton of time? I work full time and I'm a mom. This will still work for you because it's really focused on not hustling. It's not about doing more. It's about doing less, but doing more of the right things. So I'm really big on how do we simplify. That's why we were picking your one core offer, and maybe that one core offer for you is speaking engagements. Maybe that core offer for you is coaching. Maybe that core offer for you is like selling clothing in your boutique. I think this program is too advanced for me. Should I still schedule a call? Yes. Like I mentioned, 3 women in the last program had never really had a big opportunity, didn't really have clients. And by the time they left, they had all of that. I want to join, but I'm already in another program. That is no problem. I'm in many programs. So I'm in my own mastermind for business, but I'm also in another program specifically around managing my finances as an entrepreneur. I'm in another program that is helping me with which other program am I in? I have one on just like overall speaking, right? Like a course that I'm taking on speaking because I'm a speaker, but also I want to help my clients be better speakers. I also am learning from that perspective. So it's no problem if you're already in another program. All I ask is like you give each program an intention. Like, oh, the intention of this program is to help me manifest opportunities. It's to help me change my mindset around the way that I think about sales, the way that I think about showing up, the way I think about serving people, how I feel about charging people. And maybe your other program is for something else. I already made money and landed opportunities. This is still a good fit for me. Yeah. So Rebecca's a great example, right? Rebecca's business is bigger than my business now. And she already had a full-fledged business. But through using the magnetic method, especially when we did that abundance activation, which is the visualization, and we guide you through it. We're not just like good luck. Like, no, there's frameworks for all of this. But she went from no new business to $200,000 in new business. And she ended up crossing the $1 million mark as well. So she lifetime sales in the like 2 years, 2.5 years of being in business, she crossed the $1 million mark, which is bigger than my own business. I crossed that at like 3 years, I think. How many women usually sign up to be in the program? So, Luisa, we have anywhere between we had 10 people last time, so anywhere between like 10 and 12 or so. So it's a lot more intimate, which is And the meetings are a little longer. There's also peer coaching that happens. It's a really great community. There's also a lot of evidence that shows that when you manifest with a group or you're intentionally working towards something with the group, you tend to manifest quicker as well as bigger. So again, what do you get with this? 6 months of weekly live coaching, bi-weekly co-working sessions, Slack support for in between the calls. You get the virtual live event, which is happening on the 15th, the curriculum, the 5-step magnetic method curriculum, content reviews, and all of this for the investment of 555. What was I going to mention? Something else? You also get the magnetic collabs. So it's a new feature, which I totally forgot to add here. So book your call. You can go to the Theerikacruz, Erica with a K, magnetic dash mastermind. And on that call, we can talk a little bit more specifically about your situation. I don't want you to forget about the 48-hour bonus, so don't wait. If you know that you want to chat with me, schedule your call because my availability is also a little bit limited. I just want to make sure we can find a time that works for you. Oh, Jocelyn said Evie is a badass. Yeah, she is. So are you, Jocelyn, if this is Jocelyn that I'm thinking it is. And yeah, Shannon, I think I answered your question. I'm just looking at the chat now. Oh, it is you. Yay. Have any of your clients been able to get reimbursed from their employees to cover the cost of Magnetic Mastermind? Yeah. So here's what we do. We take your job description and we look at what your responsibilities are. And then we take anything from our program that is somewhat relevant and we put that in there. So like, let's say that you are a manager of people. So it would be like increasing emotional intelligence and with leadership, it would also be, what are some of the things that we do here? Obviously, like, we're not going to be like, she's manifesting leaving this job. Like, we're not going to say that. But if you are working with an employer that gives you self-development funds, then we highly recommend speaking to them. I would still book a call just so that you could get the bonus, but we work with you. So like we can give you a letter like of completion as well. We can give you a reimbursement. There we go. Letter for reimbursement. And what we do is we just ask you like, okay, what are your responsibilities? What is your job title? What's your job description type of thing? And then we try to do something really customized so that we make sure that we do everything we can to make sure your employer says yes. What people have had to do though to secure their spot is they pay for the program, and then when they get reimbursed, they obviously keep the money. But what you can do is you can even do like submit your first payment, and then once you get the reimbursement from your employer, then you can do the rest of the payments or something like that. That's what we've had people do. All right. How do you justify this to your partner, to your husband? If you're running a business already, they're probably used to you investing. But if you're just getting started, that's definitely where, I mean, I don't know your situation, right? So like if you're sharing finances or like people are allowed to have thoughts, but I always like to use the reference about if your partner is really into cars or really into something else, you might be like, why do you have to spend money on that, right? So a few things that people have done in the past is one, they've showed results, right? Like here's what people in the past have been able to create inside of this program. The research actually shows that when I have a supportive community of people around me, there's less expectation on you to help me solve my business problems or to hold space for me because I have a safe space to do that. The other one could be like, I know you might not understand, but I'm asking for your support right now. Like this is something that I want to do. Another thing could be like, this is a business write-off. This is, if you're just getting started, like that's still a business write-off, or just like education is, right? Like if you go to college and buy books, that's a educational tax write-off. So is this. Is this a course or is it live coaching? How do we get support? So there's a course component. There's the video component, which is the curriculum. And then you also get access to all of the past workshops that I've done for my clients in the past. So things like how to land more speaking engagements, how to easily create content on social media, how to activate an abundance mindset, how to, like I even did a whole workshop on this little green book called the Abundance Book, where we're really just looking at like, how does abundance actually work? So you get access to all of that pre-recorded stuff, but the weekly calls on Tuesday do happen live. If you can't make them, totally fine. We also have a private podcast. We put all of the recordings on the podcast as well. So you can listen when you're on the go. Like, for example, Evie, I know that you got a new job. You're probably traveling a ton. So like you can always catch up on the recordings. So how do you get support? You also get support through Slack. You also get support with other people in the program. So we have like, for example, Rebecca is running a marketing agency, right? Like if you have a marketing question, obviously you can come to me, but you can also come to the people inside the program. What if I already create consistent content? Totally good. You're already just a step ahead. Now all we have to do is implement the magnetic method framework to help you land opportunities. Was that it? There we go. Okay, so why join this round? The new magnetic method curriculum gets you results in 30 days or less. The decisions that you make today dictate your 2025 results. I'm just making sure I answered all the questions over here. Oh yes, I've released private coaching to focus on this group. So I used to do one-on-one coaching, no longer offering that so that I can focus on this group. There's also exclusive new features like the co-working sessions. Those weren't a thing in the past. Content reviews are fairly new. Magnetic collabs are totally new. And then you get the limited time bonus, the one-on-one coaching call. So especially if you are on the webinar right now, schedule your call. And then why wait? Why delay your growth, right? If you know this is something that you want to do, I will tell you this one thing. This program used to be a lot more, used to be a few $1,000s more. And last round, I decided to drop it. This time I was like, I'm going to honor this price, but I don't guarantee that next year it'll be the same price. And we won't be launching again until like the middle of next year. And it might be more. So I have had people come to me and say, damn, I almost signed up last round, but I decided to wait and I'm still in the same place. And now this is like $2,000 more. So just FYI, don't delay if you know you want to do this. So again, the Theerikacruz Magnetic Mastermind, so that you can schedule your call. Annie has done an amazing job to put things inside the chat, which I highly appreciate. And I'm here to answer any questions. So any questions that you may have, please, you can actually unmute yourself. There's not very many of us here anymore. There's only 14. So again, this is what you get. You get 6 months of weekly coaching, bi-weekly content creation, Slack support. This program is going to take you right through to 2025 and set you up. The virtual live event is happening on November 15th. The 5-step magnetic method curriculum, you get full access to that, as well as content reviews. So let me look at the chat. Yay, Luisa! I'm so excited to speak with you tomorrow. And Alba, I'm super excited to speak to you as well. If you joined us on Instagram, the full recording will be sent through email. You can just go to, actually, you can just reply magnetic to the Instagram live and you'll get the replay with the slides and everything. Thanks for joining. Of course, Jocelyn. Do you have any questions? Or you, Cynthia?
No, I'm good. You answered my question, but I really enjoyed it and it's good seeing you. And I look forward to scheduling my consultation with you.
Yes, I look forward to chatting with you as well. If you don't see times that work for you, you can just email us at hi@Theerikacruz. But I'm pretty sure we're checking so that we can we're trying to move things around in my schedule. I've just had a lot of travel. Yay, I'm
You're
so
good. No worries. Okay, sounds good. Thank you so much.
thanks.
Okay, have a good night.
You too. All right, any questions from anyone? I just want to tell you all something really quick. I stopped the Instagram live already, but yesterday I was at a concert and it was a country concert. I really like music, so my favorite musical genre, it used to be reggae. I think I'm more, I don't even know what my favorite is anymore. Because I have a whole playlist for Magnetic Mastermind too, and it's more spiritual music, like not spiritual, but like positive vibe, energy, like affirmations with music. It's actually really nice to listen to. I'm including it in the new curriculum and I'm super excited. But there was one artist, his name is Bailey Zimmerman, and I've already liked his songs. He was the person I was looking forward to the most. But he got on stage, he had the most amount of energy, but in between a couple of his big songs, he just took a moment and he's like, "Hey, I want you all to know that if you are struggling right now, it gets better. Keep going." And he did this whole like, telling his story. He's like, 3 years ago, I was living in a trailer in Wyoming with my mom. And now I've had like some of the top hits of this musical genre. And I sat there and I looked at my friend and I was like, this is exactly what I mean with magnetic method and building influence and using your influence for good. This guy, I mean, there must have been over 30,000 people at this concert. It was a big festival. And he took that moment and that all having all that audience to share that. And then even created a song that just came out last Friday, all about people who are ready to give up. And they like he's just encouraging them to keep going. And I was like, this is this, and I try to record it. I'm gonna try to make a reel out of it. But I feel like that encompassed what we're doing inside of Magnetic Mastermind. Like, how can you build influence to make a positive impact for something that's meaningful to you? And a lot of times, people think it's just like, oh, what am I passionate about? Like, yeah, what are you passionate about? But it's also about like, what challenges have you had to overcome? That guy didn't clearly say, like, I was considering like trigger warning. I'm going to mention suicide. He wasn't clearly saying I've tried to commit suicide, but you could tell that he has gone through really hard things and has probably considered it or has maybe had family members who have. And it was just so amazing to see him use that stage in such a powerful way. So, a lot of times our struggles and the things that we want to hide are what ends up becoming our purpose, right? It ends up becoming part of that mission. And that's exactly what he did. So, just wanted to share that with you all. And then I see that both Vanessa and Shannon have scheduled a call. I'm so excited to speak to you. Yay! Yeah, so looks like we have a few applications coming in. I'm excited to learn about your content creation or learn about your business and tell you about what we're going to be doing in the program. And I'm just so excited about this next round of Magnetic Mastermind. Are there any last minute questions? I booked my calendar through 7 o'clock. So I have 33 minutes to answer questions if anybody has a question. Oh, Vanessa, excited to talk to you as well. Do you also work with nonprofit organizations? Jocelyn, do you mean like working with them, like doing speaking engagements for them, or being their coach, or helping them implement this process? Implementing the process. Yeah. Actually, this would work really well for a nonprofit because that first part of like declaring your mission, it's literally what the nonprofit exists for. Yeah, and I'm happy to talk to you a little bit more about this offline because I think the only thing that would be it would maybe have to be like we can talk about it like if it would be more consulting work or if it would be just somebody in the program. The only thing that I think might be different is like you might have one person doing social media and then you might have another person doing the strategy, right? So it's just like, okay, are we going to have one person in the program or do you want like separate sessions? So like we would just have to figure out that stuff just because with an organization there's multiple people or maybe it could even be like a multiple day workshop. I'm happy to work with you though. Um, is there anything I need to prepare for our call? Vanessa, great question. Yeah, so just I mean, I'm just gonna ask you, okay, tell me about what you're doing. Are you a creator, entrepreneur, or are you aspiring to be one? There's really nothing that you need to do except just like know that it's a confidential call. Nobody else is gonna hear it. So the more honest you are, the better it is. Like anything you say is safe with me. And then I'll be honest with you at the end. If I feel like, you know what, this maybe isn't the best program for you, I'll tell you, but I'll still give you guidance. And if I do feel like it's the best program for you, I'll tell you what it is that you'll need. Yesenia, would you be able to help me with business strategy regarding my website design offers? Yeah, so part of the framework is really helping you decide on your core offer and what goes into it and what it's really about looking like, okay, who is exactly your ideal client? What's the one thing you want to sell? What's included in it? How are you going to promote it? It's really focused on that. So the short answer is yes. Thank you all for hanging out with me. I was like not that energetic today, and I was like, this is not the day to not be energetic. What's going on? And then I went for a walk, and then I was like, okay, we're good now. Are there any in-person opportunities during the duration of the program? Yeah, so I just don't think we're going to do a big event because events can be just expensive for everybody. Like people have to travel for them and things like that. But whenever, yeah, Jocelyn, I just needed a little recharge because I was inside all day. I just needed to be outside. But yes, Vanessa, definitely. So what I anticipate is whenever I'm like, for example, when I'm in San Diego, I meet up with Rebecca because that's where she is. Well, that's what we're planning to do. But when I'm in Southern California, I'll try to meet up with clients there as well. There's a few of you that are in the Bay Area, so that's definitely something that we can talk about. I'm also thinking that this round might have something at the end, like a meetup at the end of the program, rather than like a whole kickoff event, just because we're already getting started in like less than 20 days. So travel would just be too expensive for people because, as you saw, we have people from all over. And I always tell my clients about grants, events, things that are going on because I actually didn't focus a lot on this during the webinar, but I had one client who her business was property management. So social media actually was not her thing because her clients were owners of commercial buildings and she was just managing the buildings. Like that really wasn't, she could create content on it one day, but her leads were in person. So her strategy was actually implementing the magnetic method through in-person events. So that's also an option as well. Like we even talk about that in the program too. I did see some of these Calendly things come up. Cool. Some of the new calls. I was just looking at which ones came up. Vanessa, thank you. I look forward to speaking with you. All right, everyone. Well, remember, there is a 48-hour bonus. I don't want you to miss it. So schedule your call. Annie, thank you so much for your support and for being on when it's like middle of the evening for your middle of the morning for you. So I appreciate it. Okay, Jocelyn, I am so looking forward to speaking with you. Miriam, great to see you as always. Okay, everyone, thank you so, so much. Have a great evening or morning wherever you are in the world. Thank you so much for joining me this week. Make sure to visit theerikacruz.com. That's Erica with a K, where you can subscribe to the show so you'll never miss an episode. You can help this podcast grow by supporting me with an Apple Podcast rate and review. If you took anything away from this episode, I invite you to take a screenshot and share it on social media so that your favorite badass Latinas can also check it out. Be sure to tag me at the Theerikacruz. That's Erica with a K because you know I want to see it. If you're ready to join the revolution and be a part of the Courage Driven Latina community, visit couragedrivenlatina.com to get more information and join the waitlist. Thanks again, and I'll see you next week.